The Constitution of India. As we know, a constitution of a country is the supreme law of any nation, or it is also called as the most fundamental governing document of a country. It describes the type of polity which exists in a country. That is, whether a country is a democracy or whether it is a monarchy or it could be a military rule or whatever kind of polity that exists in a country, it will be held by the constitution of the country. It also tells what kind of privileges are provided to the citizens of the nation, whether they will be treated as equal, that is, for example, all the males will be treated as equal to the females, or some kind of social structure or social strata will be provided to the children, or something like that. It will also be told by the constitution of the nation. It will also be told whether a country is subordinate to some other country. For example, if a country A, let's say there is a country A and there's another country B, and whether country B is subordinate to country A, it will be held in the constitution of the nation, or rather the constitution of the country B. It will be called as the dominion. The country B will be called as the dominion of country A. Or whether the country B, or rather the country A, is a sovereign body, it will be held in the constitution of the country A. Such kind of things are provided in the constitution, and so is the case, or that is the similar is the case for the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India can be dealt in three ways. I'm writing COI for short for Constitution of India. Here we can say that Constitution of India tells us three basic or the most prominent things. The first is the fundamental political principles. That is, what kind of principles does the country follows. For example, a country could be a republic, that is, the head of the state will be elected by the people, or whether a country is a sovereign, as we have already discussed it before, sovereign, or whether a country is secular. The meaning of secular here is, in context of India, means the religion won't interfere in the politics of the country. That is, neither Hindus nor Muslims or nor Christians or any such religion won't interfere in the politics of the country. So such as the fundamental political principles. The other thing that the Constitution of India describes is it establishes the structure, the privileges, the procedures, powers and duties of government institutions. That is, in between government institutions, what kind of relations will exist. The third and the most important thing that the Constitution of India tells us is it sets out the fundamental rights, the fundamental duties, and the directive principles of the state policy, DPSP and for short, these are also told by the Constitution of India. These are the basic things that we know from this heavy book. As the Constitution of India is a bulky document, it is also the lengthiest in the world. The Indian Constitution is also the fountain source of law in India. That is, it gives due recognition to the statutes, that is, the laws or acts passed by the legislature, that is, the parliament or the state legislatures or the union territory legislatures. At the time of its acceptance, that is on 26th November 1949, that on this particular date, the Constitution of India had 395 articles, having 22 parts, 8 schedules, with no appendices in it. And as of now, on the day of making this video, we have around 448 articles, 25 parts. That is, these 448 articles are written in 25 parts and having 12 schedules, and on top of it we have 5 appendices, and this all change in numbers, that is from 0 appendices to 5, 395 articles to 448, or 22 parts to 25, or 8 schedules to 12. These all change in numbers is just because of the amendments being made, which is total of 98 in numbers as of today. To have the latest update, you can always check the website of the Indian government. Well, the most interesting thing to note here is that the Constitution of India is changing. That since from its birth, it has changed a lot, which in itself is a unique thing, as no other document, or rather most of the documents, most of the constitution in the world never change. They are static in nature. So we can always say that the Constitution of India is a living document. It is a living document which increases, or rather which grows with the time. The Constitution of India was written in English and Hindi officially at the time of its birth. At present, we have several translations of Constitution of India already existing. We will be describing these terms, that is the articles or parts, schedules, appendix, or the amendments, in the later videos. Now let's see some prominent things what the Constitution of India tells to us. India has to have a parliamentary system where we will have a parliament and we will have two chambers in it, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. That is the Council of States and the House of People. This is the House of People, and Rajya Sabha is called as the Council of States. The other thing told by the Constitution of India is the executives are directly accountable to the legislature, or also called as the parliament. They will be accountable to this particular body. The other thing that the Constitution tells us is the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister will head the government, that is, he will be the leader of the government and not the president. That is, the president will not be the leader of the government. It will be the Prime Minister who will lead all these bodies. Other things told by the Constitution of India is the head of the state will be the president. That is, the head of the country or head of the state will be the president. The Constitution of India also tells us, or rather provides us, a federal structure between the state governments and the central government. It tells us this kind of structure to exist. Analogous to the president and prime minister in the center, we have governor and chief minister in the states. The president in the center and PM in the center are quite similar or quite analogous to the CM in the state and governor in the state. The other thing held by the Constitution of India is India will be a republic. India has to be a republic. That is, the head of the state, that is the president, will be elected in nature and he will not be inherited in any way. The Constitution of India also helps that the executive, the legislature body and the judiciary will be independent of each other and there will not be any kind of interference until required as per law. So these are independent bodies. The other thing that the Constitution of India assures to its citizens is the justice, equality and liberty. That is, justice of social, economic and political nature, liberty of thought, liberty of expression, liberty of belief, faith and worship, that no one will change or rather force any citizen of the country to change his belief, to change his faith or the worship. Similarly, every citizen will have equality in nature, the equality of status and the equality of opportunities. The most unique thing that the Constitution of India has is it itself says that the Constitution of India is not absolute in nature. It is not absolute in nature. That is, not everything written in the Constitution should be taken for granted and you can always change it. That the Parliament has the power to change the Constitution of India, or rather any particular article which doesn't suit to the times. It also tells us that it can be challenged. If any of the constitutional thing is not appropriate or it's not right, the government of India or any citizen, even a single citizen, can challenge the constitution. And the other very much unique thing in the constitution of India is it can be changed. It can be changed, as we have already seen that since its birth it has already been changed from 395 articles to 448, from 22 parts to 25, and so on and so forth. It can be changed. It is not absolute in nature. Well, when the Constitution of India was in making, there were certain members in the Constituent Assembly. They criticized the Constitution of India by calling it as a slavish imitation of the West, or not suited to the genius of the people. That is, it will not be suited to the Indian people. Many apprehended that it would be unworkable and it will not last long and we have to change it. But the fact that it has survived for about 60 years, and rather more than that, it in itself belies the apprehensions of the critics of the Indian constitution. That is what the best thing about the Constitution of India.